Well, we've got good news here in Dallas. The lightning has subsided. Got the teams on the field, and we're anticipating a 9:50 Eastern time, 8:50 local time kick for number 16 TCU and SMU. A 103-year-old rivalry, the battle for the iron skillet. Clay Matvick, Dan Orlovsky ready to have it for you. And Dan, how are the teams going to have to adjust now after what will be an hour and 50-minute delay?
Well, the big thing is what team is mature enough to handle this off-script situation and then reset your routine. Every player's got a routine. Start it again, get yourself ready to play the ball game, take advantage of the opportunity to play a game tonight.
Well, better late than never. We're going to have old Southwest Conference rivals 1-0 TCU, 0-1 SMU coming up 9:50 Eastern time. For now, we're going to head back to the studio and NFL Live. After an almost 2-hour delay, we're ready to go here in the Big D for an old Southwest Conference showdown. A rivalry over a century old. The number 16 TCU Horned Frogs making the 40-mile bus trip from Fort Worth to take on the 0-1 Mustangs of SMU. Welcome to ESPN College Football presented by Hulu. Better late than never. Let's get it going. Lightning was the issue, not the rain. Alongside former UConn and NFL quarterback Dan Orlovsky, I'm Clay Matvick. Paul Carcaterra will be roaming the sidelines in a poncho, we suspect, as we're ready to go. It's going to be, like we said, about 2 hours of delay because of lightning. Gary Patterson, 18 years at TCU now, the second longest tenured coach in the country. Only Kirk Ferentz at Iowa has been at his school longer. And he was anxious to make sure they got this game in tonight, chomping at the bit.
Okay, turn around.
And Sonny Dykes is on the other sideline. It'll be his third game as SMU's head coach. He coached the bowl game last year. First game at home for him. It stops at Louisiana Tech and Cal. And last year, he was an assistant for Gary Patterson. We said TCU is a 40-mile bus ride across the Metroplex. TCU trying to win its 7th in a row in this series. The iron skillet is on the line. And Dan, last year these teams combined for almost 1,100 yards of offense. TCU won it in a shootout, 56-36. But this is the kind of weather SMU wanted here tonight. They think it might be a neutralizer.
Weather often is, Clay, and what it's going to allow them to do is kind of minimize that talent gap. Whatever team's more mature to handle all the little things, every snap, handoff, pass with extreme focus, will be the one that handles this weather the best.
And TCU won the toss and they elected to defer. So Cole Bunce has it on the tee as the rain continues to fall. As long as the lightning stays away, we're going to be fine. C.J. Sanders, grad transfer from Notre Dame, is back deep to return for SMU. Fair catch called for in the end zone, and they're going to start at the 25. That's where we're going to get our first look at the SMU offense, which really struggled last week. Trying to find an identity here tonight behind their quarterback, Ben Hicks, who's coming off a record-setting 2017. Threw for over 3,500 yards and a team record 33 touchdowns last year. 57 career touchdowns responsible for it. The next one will set a new record there as well. Gets it right in the hands of James Prochet, and they're going to want to do that early and often, Dan. That's a pickup of 6 yards on first down.
And it's exactly what Rhett Lashley, their offensive coordinator, wanted. Ball out, guy in space.
Here's Brayton West. He's going to run, and he's going to pick up a first down. Great sign for this SMU offense. Struggled so poorly last week. Just one first down in the first half against North Texas, and they've got one here on the opening series quickly.
And they said this was going to be a big deal, Clay. Get possession, get a first down, allow us to get into some rhythm.
Go back to the ground game. Braden West, be a short carry, but that's what offensive coordinator Brett Lashley wants to do. Establish the run game. They had -3 yards on the ground in the first half last week.
And the challenge for them is figuring out what they're good at when it comes to the run game. What can they lean on and be committed to doing it?
Hicks has stacked receivers on either side. 2nd down and 8. And Hicks will keep. This is not a usual element of his game, but it takes TCU by surprise. Ben Hicks runs for the first down. It's a gain of 9 out close to midfield. But Hicks lost his helmet. He's going to have to come off the field for a play.
But he told us yesterday, Clay, I'm comfortable running the football. I know I'm not the dynamic athlete that may have been part of Auburn in the past, where Brett Lashley comes from, but I'm good enough to run this offense.
On my signal.
William Brown, a true freshman backup for Hicks, has to come in. He's out of Rosenberg, Texas. And he'll hand off to West. West bounces off a tackle, gets free, and he's in the secondary. Goodbye, Braden West, touchdown. Not the offense we saw last week at North Texas. The Mustangs jump out to the early lead. It's a 51-yard run to the end zone for Braden West.
And these are those little things, Clay. It's just that simple one-back power. Jerseys are a little wet because of this rain. You've got to wrap. You've got to secure those tackles. Braden West, beautiful job of running strong, spin move, huge play to start this game for SMU.
Braden West with a rushing and a receiving touchdown last week. Will Moore comes on for the extra point and bangs it home. It's a 5-play, 75-yard scoring drive in under 2 minutes for SMU. They got spanked last week, 46-23 by a Conference USA team. They're leading TCU out of the Big 12, 7-0 here. You're watching the American Conference on ESPN. Back here in soggy Dallas, Clay Matvick and former UConn star Dan Orlovsky played 13 years in the NFL. And we wondered how the weather might affect these two teams here tonight. Almost a 2-hour delay. TCU, the number 16 team in the country, they're playing catch-up now.
Absolutely, and you tip your hat to SMU. They've handled it fantastic. Great start to drive to start this game. Got their playmakers in space and finished the drive.
Now the Horned Frogs who get it for the first time. Short kick. Good field position for Sean Robinson. The Frogs offense. This will be his 3rd career start. Kenny Hill's backup last year. And it's Robinson's team now, the sophomore out of DeSoto, Texas. He and the Frogs rocked Southern last week, 55-7, 500 yards of total offense. He scored 5 touchdowns himself, all in the first half, 3 passing, 2 rushing. Shewololana-Lua in the backfield, and he's going to get the first carry for the Frogs. Big physical running back, 6'3", 231 pounds. He picks up 6 yards.
And Clay, we might see a little bit more tempo out of this TCU offense to really get their guys going, get some energy back into this football team.
Olana-Lua again, first down and a little bit more. I'm near the 45-yard line. Offensive coordinator Sonny Cumbie is going to try to stay balanced, Dan. Last year, TCU ran the ball 55% of the time.
That's what they want to be, though. They want to be a balanced team, especially with the young quarterback. Bunch of playmakers around them. Mix your run and pass within it.
Robinson lost the football. Who's got it? Looks like the sophomore was
Going
able
on the
to
field
recover.
is a fumble that was recovered by the offense. It's second down.
And Clay, this is going to be the theme of the night. What team is willing to do all these little things I keep talking about? You can't take any handoff or zone read fake for granted. Everything's got to be done with extreme finite focus.
And Patrick Nelson, the strong safety for SMU. He trying to recover that fumble, but it's going to be TCU ball. Olanolua out of the backfield. He's going to be wrapped up. That's a loss. It'll be third down and long for the Frogs as we go down to Paul Carcaterra.
Sean Robinson, Gatorade Player of the Year 2 years ago from DeSoto, Texas. Accumulated over 7,000 yards through the air, 4,000 on the ground throughout his high school career. And you mentioned Clay balance. Well, Sonny Cumbie loves the options with Robinson. He's a passer first, but he can burn you with his feet.
A little trouble with that one exchange, and now he faces a third down and 14. Opening series for TCU. Robinson stays clean in the pocket, over the middle, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Jalen Rager, and nearly picked off. It's fourth down, and the Frogs will have to kick. Boy, Cole Stearns almost had an interception.
Well, we've seen in this game, TCU defense, a couple of missed tackles. Play before this, a fumble on a missed exchange, and now a beautiful throw by Sean Robinson and Jalen Rager, their big-time receiver, just not doing the small things, securing that catch. It's not a normal catch. It's a wet ball catch. Pull it all the way in.
So now Adam Nunez, the third-year punter for TCU, comes out for his first kick. High snap. He's able to get it away. Sanders back. Crochet. And Robertson with a big return. But there's a penalty flag down. Big return for Reggie Robertson, but it looks like it might come back. The West Virginia transfer, a return of 67 yards. For Sonny Dice.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team, number 28. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It's first down SMU. Timeout on the field.
Timeout on the field here in Dallas. We'll take a timeout as well. 13-10 to go in the first quarter. Great start for SMU.
ESPN College Football is presented by Hulu. Watch your football games live all season long on your favorite channels. No cable required. And in part by Audi.
Some of the great names from this rivalry, some of the great names from college football past. Christian Davis with the block in the back wipes out a big return for Robertson on a gadget play.
Try to pull a trick play essentially on the return, get one returner on one side of the field, bring Robertson on the other. Fools TCU, the silly penalty hurts their return team.
Ben Hicks hands off on first down. It's Brayton West again. Pick up a handful. Gary Patterson said, you know, he fully anticipated that SMU might run some trick plays, some gadget plays here tonight. Keep TCU off balance.
They hit him twice on offense with some gadget, but right now I like their run game. They're getting some push at the line of scrimmage. And then Brayton West doing a nice job of having patience, picking his hole, and running.
Couple more for West. Last week, SMU had 16 yards of offense in the first half. And -3 rushing yards. First drive tonight, 69 rushing yards and a touchdown.
And it all started with that first down. That initial first down, Clay, has allowed this offense to have some rhythm. Huge third down here to keep this drive going, gain some momentum back.
Became Freeman on the third down carry, and it looks like he's got enough. A short yardage back for the Mustangs, and they will move the chains. Last week, that lopsided loss to North Texas, Dan, SMU 2 for 8 on third downs.
But we're seeing a totally different offensive line tonight. They're relying on it, pushing the ball, pushing the line of scrimmage.
Hicks wants to throw, comes to the near sideline for Galliard. He's going to be wrapped up at the 40 and brought down as we take a look at our impact players.
Well, for the SMU offense, it's got to be their wide receiver, James Prochet. He's going to be a guy they're going to move around a ton, Clay, get the ball, he's an athlete. And then TCU's defense, number 6 in his games. He's the guy that, whatever you ask him to do, he's going to do for your defense, a huge part of their success.
Freeman. And they'll move the chains again. That's a gain of 7 for the junior from Texarkana. Izahaku finally brought him down, but SMU doing what they talked about yesterday. Sustaining drives. Quick release from Hicks. Gets it in the hands of Galliard again. They're into plus territory. Gain of about 8. Boy, this is a very confident Ben Hicks. What he struggled with first half last week. And Rhett Lashley is going to that ground game. Not a lot of operating room that time for Freeman. Maybe a yard. It'll bring up third down and short. Innis Gaines, one of your impact players, makes the tackle. His helmet comes off, and he's going to have to leave the field for at least one play.
But if you're Rhett Lashley, you're loving this right now. You've had 3 third downs in a row that have been under 2 yards. So that allows you to get into some unique formations. The run game is still part of it. You're in a good situation here.
They go to Freeman. He lowers his head for a first down. Freeman led SMU with 11 rushing touchdowns last year, including a couple against TCU. Come off. West comes back in. 1st and 10 from the TCU 41. Battle for the iron skillet. Hicks will go to the air. Threw it into traffic and incomplete. Should have been intercepted. Garrett Wallow, the Sam linebacker, had his hands on it. And that's the first incompletion for Hicks, and he nearly threw a pick.
He got away. What they're trying to do is get that middle linebacker, Wallow, to suck up with just, okay, is the quarterback running, and leak the tailback down the middle of the field. Hicks a little too aggressive. They got away with one right there.
Hicks threw a pick 6 in the first quarter last week against North Texas. On 2nd and 10, it's poorly thrown, incomplete, intended for Robertson, and now it's 3rd and long.
And this is why weather does come into play, Clay, because when you go pass on 1st and 2nd down and you miss it, now you're in 3rd and long with a wet ball and a quarterback that's missed 2 consecutive throws. You got to be really smart right here if you're Ben Hicks.
11th play of the series, TCU showing blitz, and now Hicks is going to check.
I like it. He saw pressure coming off the field. Here comes a blitz off the slot. They're going to pick it up and try to gash it.
And now a timeout.
This is the first charge timeout for SMU. Timeout on the field.
Mustangs need to talk it over for a 3rd and 10 coming up.
He's Ben, he plays quarterback. I'm Paul, I ask questions. Favorite quarterback as a kid?
Tom Brady.
Hardest thing about growing up in the state of Texas playing the position?
Pressure to win, for sure.
Your style is closest to what NFL quarterback?
Tony Romo.
If you could break down film with any QB, who is it?
Peyton Manning.
How about spending a day off the field with a quarterback?
Dallas's finest, Matt Stafford, for sure.
I thought it'd be Tom Brady because of Giselle. Weird quarterback superstitions. What are they?
I need a worn-down football to start the game.
My broadcast partner, Dan Orlovsky, played in the NFL for 12 years. What's one question you have for him?
How's your college game translate to the NFL?
Well, can you answer that, Dan, after he just took a sack?
I couldn't run as good as Ty Summers there. I had a really good understanding of fronts, how they married with blitzes and coverages. I had great coaching from high school, college, and on. I was fortunate with that.
Ty Summers with the sack. 4th down, SMU's going to have to punt. Jimmy Sackville trying to pin TCU deep. Checks up, takes a TCU bounce, but still a long field for the Frogs. They'll start at the 10-yard line. Gary Patterson shut down TCU practice yesterday because he didn't like the focus, the execution. It's been a slow start here tonight for the Frogs, but they get the ball back, and we'll see if they can start turning it around.
He made it very clear. Practice was not up to our standards, and the big part of it was communication. Now, what we're seeing out of the SMU offense, they're getting into some unique formations. They're playing with tempo. There's a lack of communication by the TCU defense, so their offense has got to get some tempo right now, get some momentum back in their favor.
They scored on their first 9 possessions last week against Southern. Of course, on the first drive here tonight, they had to punt. Darius Anderson in the backfield with Robinson, play action. Robinson from the goal line, dancing, looking downfield. Release, incomplete. Intended for Rager, the big play sophomore. Waxahachie, Texas. I want to try to get it to number 1 as much as possible here tonight.
You know, they tried to get a double move to Cavante Turpin on the outside. And I like the fact that Sean Robinson goes through his progression. The shot was not there, but I would have liked to see him run there. That's a weapon of his. No one's open. The ball's wet. Get some positive yards on first down for your team.
SMU blitzing, but they were a little early. Anderson on that carry. Flags all over the place.
Offside. Defense, number 14, was in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty. It's 2nd down.
2-hour delay, slick balls galore. Spoke to a bunch of the ball boys on both sides. They said these balls are ultra slick. TCU guys, I'm seeing some guys dump the gloves. Some guys are changing the gloves. The high-performance gloves are the sticky ones. But when it's wet, they get slick, so they're going to the all-weather gloves right now. But this is not a fun ball to throw for a quarterback, Dan.
You know, Clark, I've been a part of a lot of places that you practice on purpose. You'll take a bucket, dump a ball in there, practice for these exact type of situations.
After the penalty, 2nd down and 6. There's Robinson taken up. Just terrific on his feet. He had 2 carries last week. Both went for touchdowns. And he's even quicker now, guys, because he lost a little weight this offseason, about 10 pounds. 1st and 10 for TCU. Here's Robinson looking to throw now, and he's going to take a deep shot. Looking for Rager. He overthrew him. And it wasn't even that close.
That's not the first time we're going to see that formation. They like to put Rager to the field by himself, but, you know, for this TCU offense, they're going to rely on Cavante Turpin. He is their match, like the match, electric vertical juice. And then for the SMU defense, Jordan Wyatt is going to have a huge game, not only mirroring Jalen Rager, but communicating on that back end, making sure all these secondary guys are doing their job.
Wyatt was in the coverage on Rager on that last play. 2nd down and 10 for the Frogs, down a touchdown. Batted around and incomplete. That should have been caught by Jerrison Stewart, the inside receiver for Mesquite. Shane Haley who's there defensively, and it'll be 3rd down and 10.
It's a nice job by Sean Robinson of seeing inside pressure, replacing it to Jerison Stewart with the shot. It's just these TCU receivers, focus. This ball is wet. Whatever you have to do, body catch it doesn't matter. You got to secure these catches.
Robinson out to a 1-for-5 start passing. Play action. Rolls to his right now, gets a little pressure, throws it off his back foot. It's underthrown, and that should have been intercepted. Patrick Nelson back there in the coverage. The Illinois transfer has really played well in the secondary here in the first couple of games for the Mustangs.
And this is an example of a young quarterback trying to press right now. Pressure in his face, throws it up, gets away with it. You got to be conscious as a quarterback right now that you can't just make any kind of throw. That ball's going to come out of your hand differently.
Adam Nunez with the snap going over his head, running for his life, lost the football. Ball's loose, goes through the end zone.
The ruling on the field is a fumble that was accidentally kicked out of bounds. It went out of bounds in the end zone. Result of the play is a safety.
9-0 SMU, and they're going to get the football back.
And we're just seeing a drastic difference. One team handling delay, handling the elements. The other team, who you would expect to do a better job of it, not being able to do the little things. Receivers dropping the ball, now the punter dropping the ball, trying to make something special leads to the fumble. All these little things, Clay, add up. And now you're on the road at deficit. And you've got an SMU team, came in here a little hungry, a little embarrassed last week, feeling good about themselves. Gary Patterson's got to rally his team on the sideline.
Well, Sonny Dykes said to us, he said, it can rain all at once. We think that's going to be a neutralizer. It's certainly been a factor here in the first 10 minutes as SMU leads it 9-0. Have not beaten TCU since 2011. You know, and we're talking to Gary Patterson. Got any concerns about your team perhaps not being focused, looking ahead to Ohio State, who's on the schedule next week, Texas in 2 weeks? You gotta wonder if that's in the back of his mind now. C.J. Sanders on the return. Good return, too, out to the 40. Well, tomorrow night on ESPN, Dabo Swinney and number 2 Clemson with a tough road test against Jimbo Fisher and Texas A&M in College Station, 7 Eastern and live on the ESPN app. Of course, game day is going to be live at College Station tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. The Alabama quarterback situation, that's been settled. Now it seems Clemson has one. How's Dabo Swinney going to use Kelly Bryant and the freshman Trevor Lawrence tomorrow night?
It's really interesting to watch. I've been a Kelly Bryant supporter, but I saw Trevor Lawrence play last week. Really impressed with some of the throws he made in coverages, holding receivers up in windows. This is a true quarterback battle right now.
Already 88 yards of rushing for SMU. They have looked good on the ground. They get it to Braden West on the pitch. The senior running back will pick up a couple. Rico Evans, the middle linebacker, worked him out of bounds.
And if you're SMU on offense, just continue to do what you've been doing. You've been relying on your offensive line to dominate this game. If I'm Brett Lashley, I'm going to continue to focus on that game plan.
Hicks got rid of it quickly. Across the 45 to the 46, there's James Prochet, the top returning wide receiver for the Mustangs. There you see Sonny Dykes. First home game as head coach of the Mustangs, and he has to be tickled with this start. Someone hand him a towel. Hicks West dropped him right at midfield. He had some room to operate. So now it's 4th down. And SMU is going to have to punt. The conditions really going to be a factor the rest of the night. It's obvious.
SMU has the perfect play call. TCU blitzes. They get Braden West one-on-one with the linebacker on an angle or an in-breaking route. He catches that. He's running for a long time. Don't be surprised that Lashley comes back to that at some point in this game.
The dangerous return man, Cavante Turpin, back to return this Jamie Sackville kick. It's going to bounce inside the 15, takes a roll to the 1. What a punt by Sackville. What a great job by the coverage team, Cole Stearns. And Robertson staying out of the end zone. Gerald Ford Stadium back here at University Park, Texas. Alongside former UConn and NFL quarterback Dan Orlovsky, I'm Clay Mathick, Paul Carcaterra. Down on the sidelines for the Battle of the Iron Skillet. It's been raining since about 5 o'clock this afternoon. We had about a 2-hour lightning delay. Got underway about 10 Eastern time, and TCU still trying to wake up after the delay. Shewo Alanalua from the 1-yard line, tackled by Dimrick Gary. Gain of a couple, 2nd down.
And if you're the SMU D coordinator, Kevin Kane, right now, you really got to have the mindset of, okay, Sean Robinson, I'm going to force you to beat me. Throw the ball backed up in bad weather. You're off to a rough start. It's only your 3rd start of your career. I want to force you to beat me throwing the football right now.
Robinson from the end zone to Rager. He's got room, and he's across the 25 to the 27-yard line. Rager led all true freshmen in the country last year with 8 touchdown catches. He is a special talent. Give him 23 and a 1st down for TCU.
A nice job by the TCU offensive coordinator, Sonny Cumbie. Motion in the back, get a linebacker to move horizontally, open up a little bit more of a window to get the slant to Jalen Rager, and then you see his electric speed after the catch.
Shewo Alanalua again, junior from Houston, down by the nose tackle, Pono Davis. 2nd down at 6.
And SMU defensively, they started the game last week against North Texas and played good defense. Caught some bad breaks, on the field a bunch. They're playing well right now. Make TCU earn this drive and go 99 yards.
Kevin Kane, the defensive coordinator, spent the last 2 years in Northern Illinois, trying to come in here and fix a defensive unit that needed some help. Robinson will move the chains. That pass complete out to the 40-yard line, a gain of 8 for Tate Barber. And now Robinson starting to find some rhythm after a 1-for-6 passing start.
It really seems like Sonny Cumbie, their play caller's finding rhythm as well. And all he does is with Tate Barber there, puts him in the slot. He runs up 5 yards uncovered. It's a zone defense by SMU. Sean Robinson, give him the ball, make the routine play.
Turpin goes in motion, sets up in the slot. Oh, and Alanalua is wrapped up by Richard Moore, the Texas A&M transfer. It's going to be a loss of 2. You know, SMU was on the field for 94 plays last week in that loss in North Texas. But they look well rested here tonight so far.
That was a big reason why the numbers look the way they did. But right now what you're seeing is a nice job of mixing some zone with some pressure, which is who Kevin Kane wants to be as their D coordinator. And they said they were going to test this TCU offense early with some pressure. You saw it there out of Richard Moore.
Second down and a dozen. Robinson over the middle. That is complete into SMU territory. A first down for Jalen Austin, the senior out of Grand Prairie, Texas.
Really impressed right there by the throw by Sean Robinson because the anticipation. He threw Jalen Austin into a window behind the linebacker. And like you said, Clay, really settling in right now.
First time the Horned Frogs are into SMU territory tonight. Here's another big play. It's Darius Anderson on the run. First down to the 34. Stearns makes the tackle. That's going to be the end of the first quarter. SMU will take this start. After a 2-hour lightning delay, SMU came out of the locker room ready to play, and TCU is a slow starter. A touchdown for Braden West, and then a special teams mistake by the Frogs. And the underdogs have the lead. It's 9-0 SMU here in Big D. Sonny Cumbie, second year as the play caller for TCU. His team can get in the end zone for the first time here tonight. Rhett Lashley, the OC for SMU, has to love his team start. 114 total yards so far. It's 9-0. Here's Alanalua. Inside the 30, he is out at the 29. Rodney Clemens, the free safety, pushed him out of bounds. Second down and 5.
You know, Clay, this isn't going to show up on the stat sheet as a huge play, but Trevor Denbo right there, playing kind of in the hole or in the slot, forces Alanalua to make a catch and then get outside. That was a big play if Denbo's not there. Nice job of him trusting his leverage, doing his rules.
There goes Turpin out into the flat. Robinson looked his way, then comes back to Darius Anderson. That's going to be a loss. Kyron Mitchell, the weak side linebacker, got to him. There's Patrick Nelson again. Boy, he really flashed in his SMU debut last week. He had 3 tackles for loss. That's a negative play.
Incredible play by him because he's playing at the corner position or a low safety position in the flat. And what I loved, he pulled the trigger. He trusted his instincts, read the screen, and he fired. Huge play to set up this third down.
TCU 0 for 2 on third down tonight. Third down and 7. Robinson throwing it down the sideline, incomplete. Jalen Austin wants a flag, none thrown. Well covered by Eric Sutton, the junior corner. And now it's 4th down and decision time for Gary Patterson.
And this is a kind of an example of Kevin Kane trying to reset the culture of this defense. Up in the face, playing man coverage, making you earn that catch down the field. Eric Sutton doing his job, playing nice leverage, fighting for the ball.
This would be about a 48-yard field goal attempt. Patterson kept the offense out on the field, but now a timeout
for TCU. Timeout on the field
by the Frogs. They want to talk about it. 13:29 to go before half. 9-0 SMU.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Mazda. Feel alive. And Axe.
That's what tailgating looks like at SMU on a sunny day. Not the case tonight. They actually call it boulevarding here on Bishop Boulevard. So TCU out of the timeout is going to send Cole Bunce out to an attempt what would be a career-long field goal. It's career-long 43. This is a 48-yard attempt in wet conditions out of the hold of Adam Nunez. Kick is on the way. And it is off the goalpost. Hit the crossbar. And TCU comes up empty.
I didn't love that decision, Clay. You're talking about a 48-yard field goal that in perfect conditions for bunts is going to be a career long for him. And so that snap needs to be perfect, and then that hole needs to be perfect, and then that kick in these conditions needs to be perfect. I would have loved to have seen them gone for that.
William Brown, who we saw for one snap in the first quarter, is in a quarterback, and he runs ahead for a pickup of 5. True freshman dual threat out of Lamar Consolidated High School. Now Ben Hicks comes right back to the field. And it will be Brown to Hicks. Gadget play incomplete as Hicks was hit as he threw. Now we have an injured SMU player down on the field.
On the field is a fumble that went forward and out of bounds. The ball will be returned to the spot of the fumble. It's third down.
That's the ruling on the field. And Chad Pursley, the left tackle, is injured. Training staff out to look at him, but there you go again. There's another gadget play for SMU, or at least an attempt at.
And they're trying to set up, they run wildcat essentially with their running quarterback William Brown on first down. They give this very similar look. They get it to Ben Hicks and try to take a shot downfield. TCU, a beautiful job of understanding their rules, playing the play the right way.
Here's one of your impact players in his gain, slapping Hicks's arm. Timeout, 12:58 to go here in the first half. You can stream college football all season long on ESPN Plus, so start your free trial tonight by downloading the ESPN app or visiting ESPNplus.com. You're going to need it tomorrow, too. Week 2 is packed tight. Yeah, Ed Oliver and the Cougars welcoming Kevin Sumlin's team back to Houston. Scott Frost, hopefully he's going to make his debut in Lincoln after lightning delay that ended up postponing that game with Akron last week. Take on Colorado. And, of course, Clemson, Texas A&M tomorrow night. So it was reviewed, ruled an incomplete pass for Ben Hicks. Third down and 5 for SMU, leading 9-0, trying to pull an upset over number 16 TCU tonight. And this play is going to be whistled dead. False start.
False start. Offense, number 64. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
That is the new left tackle, Bryce Wilds, the junior out of Freeport, Texas, who came in for Chad Pursley, who was injured on the previous play.
Just a little anxious. He's forced him to a tough decision on 3rd and 10 against a good pass rusher. You know, if you're Rhett Lashley right here, you got to be really conscious of protecting the football. Don't lose momentum by getting too risky play call wise.
Third penalty tonight against the Mustangs. It's now 3rd down and long. Hicks stepping up. He's going to throw to the flat and throw at the feet of Xavier Jones. And TCU will get off the field.
And listen, I know that's an incompletion and all that, but if you're Ben Hicks, it's the right decision. That's the guy that was open. Punting is okay right now. You don't want to turn over a big sack fumble right there. You get to reset an offense on the sideline. Allow your defense to continue to play really good football.
Second straight 3 and out for SMU. Jamie Sackville, good punt. Backing Turpin inside the 25. He is a dangerous return man. 3 career punt returns for touchdown, and he's got another one. And TCU is on the board. A 78-yard punt return for Kavontae Turpin. Turpin, a preseason All-American return man, and you can see why. couple of special teams faux pas tonight for the Frogs, but they get a lift from Turpin on special teams as Bunce tacks on the extra point to pull the Frogs to within a deuce.
And Clay, we called him a match, and all you got to do is give him a little space to get lit. The patience to follow some blocks, and then when you get him in the open field to point to the punter, no one is catching this kid in the open field. He's absolutely electric. And this is something that, as the special teams coordinator for SMU, you've got to be fearful moving forward. You can't kick the ball in the middle of the field to this kid. He's way too dynamic. He was an impact player as we started this game, and you talk about a team that needed a pick-me-up, that needed somebody to make a play. Cavante Turpin with the punt return is that guy.
Is now number 36.
Last season, he was the only player in the FBS with a punt return, kickoff return, rushing, receiving, and passing touchdown. And you're right. TCU needed a lift, and they get it from their senior.
Listen, sometimes games are ugly. You've started ugly if you're TCU. And you rely on some of your veterans or some of your playmakers, hey, pick us up. We just need something. Is that going to be the play that wakes up this TCU team?
From inside the 5, Sanders. Short of the 30. Well, kick off the NFL season with Sunday NFL Countdown at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. Ben Roethlisberger goes one-on-one with Chris Berman. And Deshaun Watson discusses his return to the field with Marty Smith. Plus, Randy Moss ranks this week's best catches in college football in You Got Lost. Week 1 in the NFL. Dan Orlovsky, I know you can't wait.
Hopefully we get some better games than last night, right? Last night was a tough one. We got a great game right now.
Eagles and Falcons, after a delay in their game, Super Bowl champs winning. Brayton West with the carry, but there are flags down.
Holding. Offense, number 21. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It's first down.
A lot going on with Brett Lashley and his running game for SMU. So the last time Gary Patterson had his defense on the sideline, he huddled around the defensive backs and told them, you have to trust your eyes. Additionally, he was all after his guys for not wrapping on these wet jerseys. Wrap, wrap, wrap was his message.
Nice job by Jeff Gladney there, getting that holding call on Roberson. Takes away a big play for SMU.
A shovel pass to Ryan Becker. Corey Bethley, the defensive tackle, freshman All-American last year, drops him down to the turf. Second down and long.
And if you're SMU and Brett Lashley, you don't want to be in these situations. Your goal was to stay ahead of the chains and get yourself into really good situations. Past couple of drives, you've gotten away from that, and now you're giving TCU this defense that all they need is one play to start feeling really good about themselves.
Hicks pushed out of the pocket, got rid of it, caught at the 22-yard line by Crochet. And he gets back barely to the line of scrimmage. Third down now. Garrett Wallow on that tackle, the converted safety.
And we're in that same situation again for Ben Hicks in this offense. Nothing crazy here. I'd love to see Lashley get some kind of screen, confirm a completion, see if you can pop a big play that's somewhat safe.
This is where Hicks could use Trey Quinn or Cortland Sutton, two of his big receiving weapons from last year, gone to the NFL. Third and a mile, caught West. And SMU's going to have to kick. So much talent gone from SMU. Quinn, Sutton, both left early to the National Football League. They combined for 2,300 yards and 25 touchdowns last year. Sutton, the second-round pick of the Broncos. Quinn last pick of the draft by the Redskins. Ben Hicks really misses him. Sonny Dykes would certainly like to have him. This is the 4th punt now for Sackville. The Australian gets it away. Turpin with the touchdown return on his last attempt. Calls for the fair catch this time. We step aside. SMU with a 2-point lead thanks to a safety.
The college football playoff lives on ESPN.
This season, for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, Allstate will make a contribution to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, Allstate. Clay Matvick, Dan Orlovsky, Paul Carcaterra back here in Dallas, where we had a late start to this game. The battle for the iron skillet between TCU and SMU. The Mustangs with a touchdown and a safety, a punt return for TCU. It's 9-7. Darius Davis gets around that right corner. What a college debut last week. He had a receiving touchdown, a punt return touchdown, and he gets loose on the reverse here.
Just trying to take advantage of an SMU defense that's playing really aggressive and downhill right now. I love the call coming out of the punt from Sonny Cumbie.
They fake the handoff to Alana Lua. Strike to Cavante Turpin. That's a gain of 9. The 42 now of SMU.
You know, Clay, Sean Robinson starting to get a little bit of a rhythm going on, getting comfortable. Kenny Hill is a kid who played quarterback here in the past who's now on this coaching staff. I got to imagine Kenny pulled him to the side and helped him handle this rough start in this situation.
Second and 1. That's Anderson. He got the first down. Yeah, Robinson became the first true freshman to start for Gary Patterson last year. And he beat Texas Tech last November when Kenny Hill was hurt. Like you said, Hill is here now on staff as an assistant. Good support for the young Robinson as Anderson is going to get no gain on that play. Now, you've mentored quarterbacks in the past, and that's what Hill is doing here with Robinson. So we've got a player down now for SMU.
And we talked to Sonny Cumbie, and we asked him, hey, what's the health of your quarterback room? He could not say enough good things about Kenny Hill, saying, sometimes I could be the bad cop and he could be the good cop. Sean Robinson has really relied on Kenny Hill's knowledge, his mentorship.
Well, another injured player for the Mustangs. It's Noah Westerfield, the defensive end. We'll check in on him when we come back. There's Kenny Hill, now a student assistant for Gary Patterson. Has to be great for Sean Robinson to have him to lean on.
Been incredibly impactful. And like I said, Sonny Cumbie said, sometimes I can push Sean Robinson a little bit more, and then Kenny's there to kind of reinforce what he's saying.
A little over 9 minutes to go here before halftime. TCU down a couple at second down and 10 for Robinson and the TCU offense. Anderson, good run. He's going to be tripped up at the 30-yard line, a gain of 7.
It always helps when you have a friend and a former teammate as a student assistant, and that's what Kenny Hill is for Sean Robinson. He is a calming presence. He played in Sonny Cumbie's offense. He can relate to him, and when Sean Robinson comes off the field, the first guy that he talks to typically, Kenny Hill.
And there you see that impact right there, Kark, how important that relationship is, especially in moments where you've started a little bit rough.
And on third down, TCU gets the first down and more, but the ball pops out again. Loose football in the end zone, and it's recovered by Jalen Austin. Touchdown Horned Frogs. They get a break. And they
Early on
get
the
the
field
lead.
is a fumble recovered by TCU for a touchdown.
Boy, it is hard to keep control of the football tonight as it continues to pour here in Dallas.
Clay, that's just an example of a receiver not taking a play off, hustling down, trying to get an extra block, being at the right place at the right time. But the ball finds players who hustle.
Well, TCU gave up a couple of points because of the sloppy weather here tonight. They get a break here as Alana Lua lost the football heading toward the end zone, had it popped out. But Jalen Austin, the senior from Grand Prairie, Texas, is there to recover it before it goes out of the back of the end zone.
And like I said, it's about effort, following the play, and don't take it for granted. Austin does a nice job of not just jumping on top of the ball. Watch him slide in on his side to make sure, almost on his hip, to secure that ball, because you never know where it's going to squirt since it is a wet ball. Really good job of doing a little thing right there, being in the right place at the right time.
How good has Patrick Nelson been, though, for SMU? He popped that ball loose. He has been absolutely terrific in the SMU secondary the last couple of games. But now TCU's playing from in front for the first time tonight. C.J. Sanders takes it to the middle of the field, and he's tripped up across the 25, down at the 27. Well, tomorrow night, reminder on ESPN, it's going to be good. Dabo Swinney and number 2 Clemson on the road at College Station to take on the Aggies of Texas A&M under Jimbo Fisher, 7 Eastern, and live on the ESPN app. Bryant, Farrell, Wilkins, Lawrence. Best D-line in the country?
I'm happy I don't have to play quarterback against them. You know, they remind me of a late 1990s, early 2000s Miami Hurricane defensive line. Those are going to all 4 be first rounders.
49 sacks last year for that Clemson defense. Reggie Robertson wrapped up immediately after making the catch. Little or no gain for SMU here. Nico Small on the stop. TCU has the momentum now. They got behind 9-0 in this ball game, but now leading 14-9. Chad Pursley is back in at left tackle for SMU after leaving the game with some help on the last series. Kamen Freeman on this carry. It's going to be 3rd down and fairly long again for the Mustangs.
Has this TCU defense settled in? Now they're feeling good. And this will be about the 4th 3rd and long in a row if you're the SMU offense.
There's Chad Pursley, 2nd year as a full-time starter on that O-line for SMU. He's got that ankle taped up. He's going to gut it out here tonight. Hicks from the pocket, over the middle, incomplete. There were a lot of Horned Frogs there, including Nico Small, the veteran free safety. Tyler Page can't hang on, and SMU will have to punt again.
There's the weakness of this defense that you want in the middle of the field. Nico Small doing a beautiful job of playing the correct leverage, driving downfield. But if you're SMU, you can't be in these 3rd and longs. You're not going to win this ball game 3rd and 10 against this TCU defense.
This is the 5th punt for Jamie Sackville now. He punted 7 times last week. This bounces out of bounds near the 35-yard line. Actually spotted at the 40.
Looking at this 3rd down play, if you're Ben Hicks, the middle of the field, middle of these hashes is the weakness or where you want to try to attack it. But Nico Small does a great job of playing high and then driving downhill. They put a receiver right in front of the backer, and there's a window there, but Nico Small does a great job at the safety position. Play high and then drive downhill.
TCU in that secondary, Dan, they had to replace 2 all-conference players. Anthony Tejada, Nick Orr. They've got some good ones back.
How about this stat? Going back to last year for this TCU defense, and now where we are in 2018. They've let up a 24.9 QBR rating, QBR against this defense. If you were a quarterback, that would be 109th in the country. Shows you how good they really have been.
Now Sean Robinson in the offense going back to work. Gets it to Artavius Lim, the tight end, and he's close to the midfield stripe and close to a first down. Cummings got this offensive rhythm now. They'll move the chains. Darius Anderson picks his way to the 47 of SMU. Anderson was on pace for a 1,000-yard season last year before a foot injury flared up and caused him to miss the last 4 games. And they took it easy on him last week. 8 carries, 36 yards against Southern. I don't think he's still 100%.
He's working his way back. They know that they're going to need him for this long haul, and they're going to give him some spot stuff here and there. But when you're in this offense situation right now, you're in this rhythm, you're in complete control of the game right now.
Anderson's going to set up to the near sideline. Throw it to the hash, and it's complete to Turpin. It's a gain of 8. You know, you talk about Turpin in the receiving game. He gets overshadowed because he's such a good return man. We've already seen him take a punt return back for a touchdown, but a pretty good receiver, too.
That stood out to me on tape this week. You love him as a returner, but he's got a skill set to be a really nice receiver. Beautiful little route there with some patience.
A couple of catches here tonight. Now we got a false start, it looks like.
Offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty. It's second down.
That's the right guard for TCU, Chris Gaynor, JUCO transfer. This is his first career game tonight for the Horned Frogs. Dan, he didn't play last week because of disciplinary reasons.
Gonna have a little bit more discipline after that penalty, probably from his head coach, Gary Patterson. You know, going back to Cavante Turpin, what they really like to do, they put him on one side of the field, then they put Jalen Rager on the other side of the field and go, okay, defense, who are you going to defend? That's the benefit of having some weapons like that.
Incomplete. Dontre Davis, the intended receiver. Robinson got it out of there in a shot. But now it's third down and 7. And you can see TCU has struggled a little bit tonight on third down.
As a play caller, Sonny Cumbie right now, and as a quarterback, you got to know you're in 4-down territory. So you can use this play call to get half the distance. Make sure you get into a better situation on 4th down.
It is Robinson taken off, and he's going to be cut down. Robert Hayes, the cornerback out of Slidell, Louisiana, forces 4th down.
One of the things Kevin Kane told us about this defense, listen, you got to do your job, but then you got to go get the football. Robert Hayes doing a nice job fending off the block and go get the football. Go make the play. We're trying to change the culture of this defense. Robert Hayes stepping up on 3rd down.
TCU now 1 for 5 on 3rd downs tonight. They were 46% last year on 3rd down, first in the Big 12. Penalty flag. It's like somebody ran into Adam Nunez, the punter. Let's see what kind of a penalty this is. This could be severe against SMU.
Running into the kicker. Receiving team number 31. This penalty is declined. It's 1st down. It's SMU.
Penalty is declined. It's a good punt for Adam Nunez, despite being run into. It pins SMU fairly deep.
And if you're Brett Lashley, who's the offensive coordinator for SMU, we got to reset, okay? We started off hot. We've gotten behind ourselves a little bit. You got to rally your troops in this huddle. Say, guys, we've done a nice job, especially up front running the football. It's my job to get you guys in good situations, in good play calls. Don't get cute.
TCU
Don't get cute. Rely on what you started this game, running downhill. And then put the ball in Ben Hicks's hands on the perimeter.
Brett Lashley, he helped Auburn the national title game in 2013. He was the offensive coordinator at UConn last year. There's some running room on the right side of the line for Braden West. West now with 8 carries. About 80 yards. Get a late flag.
Holding. Offense number 69. Half the distance to the goal from the spot of the foul. It's first down.
Jacob Tedora, the right guard for SMU.
And it's a really good first down play for SMU, but these little things, the backer scrapes over the top, Tedora yanks on him, takes away that penalty, and now you're not in the position you want to be in. You don't want to be in this situation against this fast TCU defense.
Inside handoff. West, nowhere to go. Second down and long. Well, that first drive for SMU, come out, put it together, 5 plays, 75 yards, and they're in the end zone. Last 4 series, 3 and out. Now they're behind the chain, second down and 14.
Well, Clay, they're just not built to do that against this defense. You don't have enough weapons up front, guys on the outside to play behind the chains. And it sounds simple, but keeping the ball moving forward is the key for them.
Hicks has time, taking a deep shot to the sideline, incomplete. Jeff Gladney was there defensively. Robertson, the intended receiver. Hicks trying to hook up with the West Virginia transfer, but now it's third down and 14.
Gladney's really having himself a nice game. He had a big holding penalty before, ripping away from Robertson. Had a really nice pass breakup downfield there.
He could be one of the top corners in the Big 12. 4.3 speed. It's one of the stars back there for Gary Patterson's unit. See if SMU can convert. Safe call out in the flat, and Galliard is going to be wrapped up. Julius Lewis has battled injuries the last couple of years, makes a nice play.
This is the second charge timeout
SMU's
for
going to have to
TCU.
punt.
30-second timeout.
TCU with 2:49 to go before halftime. They've got 1 remaining. Well, SMU got out to a great start here tonight. Braden West, that 51-yard touchdown run, capping the opening series. And then Turpin, the 78-yard punt return for TCU, bringing spark back for the Frogs.
That's really the play of the game right there, Clay. Is that juice, that momentum that he fed back into this team.
And sometimes it's nice to be lucky, as TCU was there, the fumble recovery in the end zone.
5-0
for Austin. And with under 3 minutes to go before halftime, there you have it, 14-9 TCU. The battle for the iron skillet.
0 on the game clock,
TCU
please.
again. So many big games ahead on the schedule. You wondered how they would be playing here tonight, and then you tack on the 2-hour delay. And there's no doubt SMU came out sharper, but now TCU poised to have the lead here before halftime. And they could add to it as they're ready to get the football back in good field position to boot. Sackville from the end zone. Fair catch called for, and the return man got run into. Turpin was hit at the 50-yard line. Garrick Sutton hit him.
These penalties are going to start to pile up on SMU. You know, the little things, pre-snap penalties, a holding, now a potential penalty on a punt return that can give TCU even better field advantage.
5 penalties against SMU already tonight. Mustangs went 7-6 last year. Lost 4 of their last 5 games, including the Frisco Bowl to Louisiana Tech. Trying trying to bounce back from a loss in North Texas last week, and now the mistakes starting to pile up. Sutton ran into the return man.
Trying to get out of the way, right? I mean, you can see it. Turpin throws up the hand for the obvious fair catch. Sutton's trying to get out of the way.
There is no foul on the play for kick-catch interference. Kicking team player was blocked into the receiver. The result of the play is the ball was recovered by TCU. First down.
They're going to say Julius Lewis, number 24 for TCU, pushed the SMU player into Turpin. Seems to be the right call.
You take the break. It could have gone either way, and he contacts him. But if you're SMU, you're going to take that. And now, really, if you're TCU and Sonny Cumbie, you've got plenty of time. Sean Robinson at court, you've got plenty of time. Let's just go run our offense. And then as clock clicks down and we get a little bit closer to the end zone, then we can see what our tempo needs to look like.
One timeout to work with for the Horned Frogs. It's going to be a 6-yard pickup for Anderson. 6.3 yards per carry last year for Darius. He's brought down to the turf by Patrick Nelson. Clock moving. Four receivers. Robinson 10 of 17 passing here in the first half. He's going to keep it. Takes a hit. Bounces to the outside. He's got the first down. And he's going to get inside the 40 and down to the 36. Cole Stearns finally able to get him out of bounds. But that's a gain of 18.
And on display, the strength and the athleticism. That is a big boy football play. And he spent some time in the weight room this spring. And their staff believes it gave him some confidence running the football. That stiff arm at the end shows it off.
A couple of rushing touchdowns last week for Robinson. Oh, now a loose football. Bad snap, ball loose. SMU says they have it, and they do.
On the field is a legal snap that was fumbled, recovered by the defense. It's first down SMU.
First turnover of the game, first turnover of the season for TCU.
We talked about it at the beginning of the game. The little things. You cannot take a single thing for granted. A simple snap like that you do in routine. You could do it in your sleep. All those little things. TCU, in a way, keeping SMU in this ball game with some little mistakes here and there.
Their center, Kelton Hollins, first-year starter at the position. Patrick Morris started last year, now in the NFL. And with that wet ball, TCU gives it back to SMU, and Hicks is going to take a shot on first down, intended for Robertson. They come up empty. Gladney in on the coverage.
I like the fact that Lashley's coming out with Ben Hicks and saying, giving him some confidence, right? Let's take a shot here. We just got a nice turnover. Can we hit them early? But you also have to know your defense and the guy you're playing against. Gary Patterson's too smart for that. He's not going to just give you an easy touchdown right there.
The weather has been an equalizer here tonight. SMU's in this football game. Have a chance to take the lead at halftime. James Crochet on that catch gets it out to the 44. It's third down and manageable. A minute 25 to go here, first half. SMU with a couple of timeouts remaining. West dances ahead. And he's going to be short. It's fourth down. It was actually Xavier Jones. SMU will go for it here.
They should
5 seconds.
Let this clock run out. You're not in any hurry right now. Let this clock run out, call a timeout, discuss what you want to do. The last thing you want to do, Clay, is give TCU the ball back. It's either you score or you go into halftime.
Play clock down to 2, and now timeout.
This is the second charge timeout for SMU. 30 seconds.
Brett Lashley worked in the SEC, Dan, under Gus Malzahn. He has a run-based background as a play caller. Sonny Dykes, of course, comes from that Hal Mumme, Mike Leach air raid coaching tree, and you kind of wondered how they would marry the two philosophies. What have we seen from the SMU offense here in the early going to give us an indication of how this is going to go for SMU?
One of the reasons he hired him was because he liked the simplistic aspect of his run game. It reminded him of the simple stuff in his pass game. Right here, if you're Sonny Dykes and Rhett Lashley, you're going for this. TCU is the benchmark, right? You got an opportunity to have a special night right now. Go for this. Give your team some confidence. Figure out what you're good at in the moment.
Dykes in his home debut as head coach. They've got the first down. It's Xavier Jones. Jones over 1,000 yards last year.
I love it out of SMU.
22 seconds to go before halftime. Hicks plays it to the sideline, and Robertson steps out of bounds at the 40. Clock stops with 18 seconds to go. SMU still has a timeout to spin.
Clay, the big thing now is for Ben Hicks, you can have your whole offense. You've got timeouts. The number one thing, where do I need to get for a field goal attempt? That drives a lot of the decision-making you're going to have. Kevin Robledo, transfer from Florida State, is their long-range field goal kicker. Hicks down the sideline. There's some contact. James Prochet running into Izahaku along the sideline. No penalty flag. Stops the clock with 13 seconds to go. Third down. Completions are okay. Time is your friend. But like I said, Ben Hicks has to be aware right now. One, let me get this first down, stop the clock. Where do I need to get for a field goal attempt?
Hicks keeps it. And he's down at the 31-yard line. We're going to hustle up to the line. And Hicks will spike it. 6 seconds to go here in the first half. How about this clock management? How about this hurry-up offense for SMU? It struggled so badly, especially in the first half last week at North Texas. But this is a sharper unit for Rhett Lashley here tonight.
Well, North Texas is really good, right? Really good football team, big-time defense. But this is one of the things that you benefit from having a quarterback that's a little bit of a veteran. You can handle these situations. He's smart enough to handle it. Do you have enough time to take a shot here?
Hicks gets it quickly to the outside, and it is a catch for Prochet with 3 seconds to go in the half. And now here comes the field goal unit, and it will be Kevin Robledo.
Rolling on the field is a catch, and the player was out of bounds.
Again, we've got wet conditions here tonight. Weather has been a factor the entire first half. Jamie Sackville, the punter, will hold.
The ruling on the field
42-yard attempt
of a catch is under review.
But they're going to review that last play. Make sure that was a catch for Prochet. Brandon Cruz, our lead official. Michael Sucheski is our replay official tonight. Ruling on the field, pass complete to Prochet. Just another look.
Nice job by Prochet of using whatever it takes to make a catch. Looks to me like he somehow squeezes it between his knees.
He did.
On the sideline, and those are a big couple yards.
Yeah, on a night like tonight, you need all the help you can get. We've seen the wet ball lead to a safety tonight. A high snap for TCU on a punt. A bad snap from the center for TCU because of the wet conditions.
After reviewing the play, when the receiver was out of bounds, he did not have control of the football. It's an incomplete pass. The ball will be returned to the previous spot. It's 3rd and 10.
Has to complete the catch. All the way to the ground. Complete the process. Apparently upstairs, Michael Subcheski believed and Prochet did not do that. So this is going to make it a longer attempt for Kevin Robledo. This will be a 49-yard attempt. To make it a 2-point game. Bingo! And Sonny Dykes is pleased with this first half. Even though his team is down, much better than last week. TCU, they got down 9-0, but SMU has the field goal at the end of the half. It is 14-12 TCU at the break. Welcome back to Dallas. You're watching college football on ESPN, presented by Hulu. Clay Matvick, former UConn star Dan Orlovsky back here in the Big D. It's 14-12 TCU at the half, but TCU came out lethargic here tonight, a little slow. SMU, they were the sharper team after that 2-hour lightning delay. What do you expect here in the second half?
Well, credit both those teams for kind of settling in a little bit. You know, TCU's really in this ball game because their dynamic playmaker, Cavante Turpin, finds a way to have a huge impact on a punt return, which was a big turning point in the game. And then players being at the right place at the right time, receivers, Jalen Austin following the play, falling on a fumble. But, you know, at the same time, Clay, TCU's hurt themselves a little bit. Big fumble before the half. SMU takes advantage of it. Huge 3 points at the end of the half. I'm excited to see how both these teams handle a little bit more of routine halftime coming out of the locker room.
Teams fairly even in total offense. 185 for TCU, 167 for SMU. I'm sure Gary Patterson had some words for his team at the half. TCU's going to start with the football from the 18-yard line. Daniels on the return. Decent field position for the Frogs here to start the second half as we go down to Paul Carcaterra.
Well, Gary Patterson has no voice left whatsoever. I've been watching him this entire first half, getting after his guys relentlessly. He told me his offense, it's nothing that SMU's defense is doing. They are just shooting themselves in the foot. They're not going through their progressions defensively. He's very upset, said poor tackling, blown coverages. This is not the first half he wanted. He said the slow start, because of the lightning delay and the weather, certainly was troublesome in terms of them getting going and then getting into a rhythm.
Dan, there is no coach in the country that prepares his team more thoroughly than Patterson. Can't imagine he was happy as that pass is incomplete, intended for Rager.
He kept referencing yesterday, at least this is the vibe that I got from him. The standard was so high and the expectation level was so high. And that's what we're hearing from Kark, that he's not happy with how anybody's playing. And the expectation level is for this program, for this team to play much better than they did in the first half.
Sean Robinson got out to a cool start throwing the football in this game. 1 for his first 6. Trying to throw here. He'll run up in the pocket and takes a punishing hit at the 46-yard line from Kyron Mitchell. It's a gain of 8, but he paid for it.
But I love the decision, Clay. Nothing's there. Trust your feet. Get a positive play for your offense, and now you're in 3rd and short instead of trying to force a ball or sitting back in the pocket and taking a sack. This is a good situation for this offense coming out of halftime.
Robinson making his 3rd career start for the Frogs here tonight. Run pass option. hands off, and it looks like it's enough for a first down for Shewo Olanalua, junior out of Houston. There's another tackle for Patrick Nelson. And that's just the second third down conversion for TCU here tonight, Dan.
And that's why that scramble on second down is so big, because then you get into third and short, and Olanalua can be a part of your play call.
TCU with a big game next week in Arlington against number 4 Ohio State. Certainly that game's going to have college football playoff implications, but they've got their hands full here first with SMU. Opening series of the second half. Robinson stands tall, now moves out of the pocket, incomplete. Again, Rager, the intended receiver.
Just a little bit of a difference there, right? The previous 2 plays previous, he decides to run. There's a little bit of a window there for him to run. You know, Sonny Cumbie talked about one of the biggest things that he wants out of Sean Robinson is getting past bad plays. Move on from them. And he didn't play bad in the first half, but didn't play really well. So that's something I want to pay attention to. How is he going to handle coming out of this half, having not played a great half of football?
They'll run it. Olanalua can't get around the corner. Great pursuit as that SMU defense stretches him out to the sideline. Rodney Clemens leading the way, the free safety, and that'll be a loss of 4 on the play. So now third down and long.
And if you're Kevin Kane and Sonny Dykes at halftime, you had to tell your team, fellas, you guys belong. Believe in yourself. You've played really well in this first half. And you see it there, just the energy that this defense is playing with.
Robinson with 3 receivers to his left. He's going to go over the middle and trying to adjust to the football. Lands incomplete. Jarrison Stewart, he couldn't make the catch, but there is a flag. This looks like pass interference.
Pass interference, defense, number 14, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So middle linebacker Richard Moore back on pass coverage. That's the 6th penalty against SMU tonight.
I don't know, Clay. I thought it was pretty good coverage by Richard Moore. He's tasked with running down the field against Jarrison Stewart. He looks back at the ball with enough time. It's just not a good throw. They got bailed out right there.
See if TCU could take advantage of it. Good run for Darius Anderson. Said it before, he is not 100%. Still coming back from a foot injury, but he looks solid there on first down. Second and short.
Be interesting to see if SMU or TCU tries to take a shot right here to Rager down at the boundary.
Rager lined up to the right, but they run it, and it's Anderson again ripping off a first down carry inside the 25. Nelson made the tackle, but it's a gain of 8. They'll move the chains, and TCU will keep on moving.
Yeah, their bell cow, Darius Anderson, kind of giving them a little bit of some juice right now. Running hard, breaking some tackles, hitting holes downhill. This offensive line coming together a little bit.
Robinson out of the gun. Staring down that left side, and he throws it right to SMU. It's picked off. First career interception thrown for Sean Robinson, and it's Shane Haley coming up with it. Boy, he just stared down that right side and threw it right to Haley.
Yeah, Haley just playing inside, and it's really a double slant concept. And as a quarterback, the #1 thing you do, inside out. That's got to be your read. And Haley does a nice job of sinking in, baiting Robinson to make that throw, and trusting the right technique. And that was a big thing for Kevin Kane. Do your job. This back end's got to do their job. Sean Robinson doing a little bit of predetermining there.
First career interception thrown for Robinson in 71 attempts as West carries on first down for SMU.
Okay, what do we have there? We've got the turnover crown, the turnover chalice. Good for them. That's a big turnover for them. They're not only Miami and some other programs that have their own thing. It's a big turnover for this defense. But I'll go back to this, Clay. We've got to pay attention. Sean Robinson, he's a young quarterback. Kevin Kane wanted to put some pressure on him. Right now he's struggling.
Oh, now Hicks is struggling to keep the football. In fact, he lost it. Turnover, and Alec Dunham will take it into the end zone. SMU gets a break, but then they make a mistake on the ensuing series as Hicks can't handle it. And Dunham, the senior from Cold Spring, Texas, picks it up and takes it back to the house for TCU. (21-12) TCU now.
If you're either of these coaching staffs, you might want to think about not having your quarterback handle these zone reads or long held option handoffs. Both of these teams kind of hurt themselves. Who's going to be the one to make the least amount of mistakes?
Welcome back to Dallas, where you're watching the American Conference on ESPN. Clay Matvick, Dan Orlovsky, Paul Carcaterra. Back here at Ford Stadium, Dallas, where TCU has added to its lead on the 25-yard fumble returned by Alec Dunham. Now SMU will have it back at their own 24-yard line. Now that last play, Dan, it was hard to tell whether that was a mistake by the quarterback, whether it was a weather-related situation, or if it was just a good play by Ben Banniger, the defensive end, who seemed to get back there and disrupt things.
For what we've seen all night, I gotta believe it's weather-related. You know, there's a little bit of a missed exchange there. These balls have a lot of water on them from the rain in the field and whatnot, and we've seen that hold both teams back, and that's going to be a key thing moving forward.
Here's Xavier Jones struggling to get back to the line of scrimmage for SMU. Banniger, the Big 12 preseason defensive player of the year. He seems to always be in the opposing team's backfield causing problems. He was certainly right there for Ben Hicks. That's the first turnover for SMU tonight.
Gary Patterson stressed about him this week. Listen, don't press. He felt last week he pressed so much. Just go play your game. Impact right there.
Here's Hicks. That's a bad throw. Well behind James Prochet. And now we're seeing the Ben Hicks that we saw in the first half last week in the game in Denton against North Texas. A little more uncomfortable.
Certainly, and a little bit of a credit is to this TCU defense and how good they are and how fast they play. You know, with this 3rd and 10, I'll say it again, I want to see a screen. This is a team that's upfield with their rush. Show me that you've got a screen as part of your game plan.
On 3rd and 10, Hicks avoids a sack. Now in trouble, going the wrong way, and he's dunked inside the 15. Corey Bentley, a freshman All-American from a year ago with the sack.
I'll tell you what, gentlemen, when Ben Hicks fumbled on that prior possession, he came off the field completely dejected. His body language down. This past series, he looked rattled.
And Clark, you can't do that as a quarterback, especially a guy with all the starts and who's having a solid night and has the experience for him. Everybody on this young team is looking at you. No matter what, you can't blink. You got to keep going forward. You're still in this game.
And now TCU is going to have glorious field position at the 44-yard line of SMU. Second sack tonight for the Frogs.
And this is a lot of pressure on your offensive line to hold up against this elite pass rush from TCU. Ben Hicks got to find a way to get that ball out of his hands.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Mobile One Annual Protection. Proven protection for 20,000 miles.
Gary Patterson through the years at TCU, 161 wins, most in school history, and an undefeated season in 2010. 6 conference titles, 11 or more wins in 10 of the last 15 seasons. He's been at the school a long time, 18 years now. He's got to feel better about the way they're playing though, too.
And this is also a program, Clay, that since he's gotten there, they've won just about 75% of their games, you know, and 6 conference titles, like you said, and he's really been consistent when other schools, Texas has had 3 head coaches, Texas Tech has had 5, A&M's had 7. He's been there, that constant presence for this program, and it's really elevated them into the conversation with Oklahoma and Ohio State, Alabama, and Clemson. This is not just a good football team, it's a very, very good football program.
Robinson now 11 of 21 for 82. He was complete to Rager there. 31-yard line now. First down for TCU. Robinson will hand off. Here's Anderson ripping off another big run. First down inside the 20, down to the 18-yard line. And you know Patterson barked out his guys at halftime. We're seeing a sharper unit here in the second half.
Incredibly detailed, you know, spending time with them. I felt like it was Bill Belichick. You know, how detailed he was, how he saw football. He doesn't really see positions. You just see football players. Now, I know your strength. I know your weakness. I'm going to put you in places to be successful. And you see it right now in their run game. Anderson hitting some downhill runs for this offense.
TCU in the red zone. Robinson steps up, makes a smart play. Nice stiff arm inside the 5, and he's going to be marked out at the 1.
Really
That's a heady play there by the sophomore.
With the ball short of the goal line.
Was looking to throw, realized there was nothing there, tucked it and ran. And he's so good at it.
And really, Clay, every time he's done it tonight, something good has happened. And that's part of playing quarterback and managing the game is when the weather's not great, figure out ways to keep your offense moving forward. That's worth looking at right there because it looks like he might cross that ball across the pylon before he steps out.
Yep, we're going to get a review.
Ruling on the field that the runner was short of the goal line. Under review.
And how about the heads he played, not only to run, but then to extend that ball out, knowing all I got to do is get this to cross that pylon.
Here's Sonny Dykes. He talked about having to defend the dual threat quarterback, Sean Robinson, tonight. And was Robinson in here? He's still in bounds. When it looks like that ball crosses the plane.
It looks like that his right foot is still in the air. The ball's crossing the pylon inside of it. I'm not going to be surprised if this one gets overturned and it's touchdown TCU. And I love seeing him run more. I'll go back to that, Clay. Part of playing quarterback is managing everything that's going on around you. Whether you don't have your A game, some injuries, the weather as we're seeing tonight, and if you're not throwing great, can I still find ways to get my offense to move forward and be productive, whatever it takes?
Here's the call.
After reviewing the play before the runner went out of bounds, the ball was inside the pylon and broke the plane of the goal line. It's a touchdown.
Referee Brandon Cruz. And it's a touchdown for TCU. Sean Robinson, his 3rd rushing touchdown of the year. And now some breathing room for the Horned Frogs here in the 3rd quarter.
Feel a little bit better about the situation if you're Gary Patterson right now. May not look like it. He's sweating over there just as much as his players are. But how about Sean Robinson throwing the pick, on the drive before, and we've talked about how they want him to move on from bad plays.
Yep.
Well done by the young sophomore.
Talking to Patterson, he says, reminds me a lot of Trevon Boykin. Star players that TCU had here not that long ago. Extra point is good, and it's 28-12 TCU. They fell behind 9-0 in this ball game right out of the gate. They were looking at a deficit, but Sean Robinson has led them back. A touchdown here in the third quarter.
The ESPN app now with ESPN Plus. Get more ESPN and download now.
Welcome back to Dallas. 7:28 to go here in the third quarter. Watching college football on ESPN, presented by Hulu. He's former NFL quarterback Dan Orlovsky. I'm Clay Mathick. Paul Carcaterra is down on the sidelines. He's been dodging raindrops all night. TCU expanding its lead to 28-12. SMU will get it back with a long field ahead of them. We're going to start at the 14 after that return by Braden West. Well, don't forget tomorrow night on ESPN, a great one. Clemson, Texas A&M. Coming your way from College Station. Game day is going to be there live in the morning. And Kellen Mond, the A&M quarterback, he was recruited by Clemson. Now he's going to try to lead an upset of the Tigers.
Clay, he's going to have a special night. You know, and I'm not just saying, you're going to have to throw the ball well, but we mentioned that Clemson defense. He's going to have to make some special plays of escaping the pocket, making some throws down the field, being super athletic.
Here's Kamen Freeman out across the 25-yard line. It's a first down for SMU. That is the toughest game remaining on the Clemson schedule, Dan.
In Kyle Field and the 12th man, they're going to have to play their A game. Don't sleep on Clemson having to play at Boston College here at the back end of October as well up north. Boston College has got a big-time offensive line that can handle that Clemson defensive line.
Well, there's no doubt about the fact that SMU has run the ball better here tonight. They're over 100 yards rushing after that pathetic performance on the ground last week. They finished with 25 yards rushing. Second and short. That pass is incomplete. Intended for Galliard. It's going to be third down and 1 for SMU.
Really on the field was an incomplete pass.
Bad series.
Third down.
Resulted in a touchdown here in the third quarter where Hicks fumbled the football and was scooped up by Alec Dunham and taken in.
Reset the game clock. 7 minutes, 6 seconds. 7:06.
Put 12 seconds back on the clock. This offense looked so good on its opening series tonight. Marched it down. They have struggled here since the early moments of the second quarter. Xavier Jones. That touch, but a penalty flag down.
Holding. Offense number 57. 10-yard penalty. It's third down.
And another mistake for SMU.
And Clay, we talked to Ben Hicks yesterday, and he said, really, a problem for us has been 3rd and 1 because we're not necessarily a downhill running team. You get into the situation, you convert it, and then you hurt yourself with a holding penalty. And now you're back into 3rd and long with this young offensive line against this TCU defense.
1 for their last 9 on 3rd down. Hicks throws, and that's nearly picked off. Julius Lewis couldn't hang on to it. TCU's going to get the ball back as SMU's going to have to punt.
Gary Patterson decides, I'm not going to just play some zone coverage. I'm going to come after you a little bit, play a little bit of man coverage, and that pocket shrinks on Ben Hicks. That ball sails, and he's lucky. He's lucky he doesn't get a pick, but I got to see better body language out of you, bud. This team needs to rely on you as a leader.
Hicks told us that he felt the most comfortable last year in the game against TCU, where he threw for over 300 yards, a couple of touchdowns. He did turn it over 2 times in that game with a couple of picks, but he felt the most comfortable against the Frogs. Was hoping for the same results here tonight. Big Saturday menu on ESPN and ABC. Arizona, Houston, noon Eastern, followed by Colorado, Nebraska. Clemson, Texas A&M in the evening, and Pitt trying to be a giant slayer again. We'll see if they can do it against Penn State.
And Pat Narduzzi's crew is built for that because he's fearless and they just want to go throw their best punch. But that Arizona State-Michigan State game, N'Keal Harry, America, if you want to see a grown man playing some football, tune into that game and watch the Arizona State wide receiver.
Herm Edwards winning his coaching debut at Arizona State last week. Had a tough time with the Spartans. Robinson going deep down the middle, incomplete. Jalen Austin, who had that fumble recovery in the end zone for a touchdown in the first half, was the intended man.
I love the play call from Sonny Cumbie, but if you're Sean Robinson, bring your receiver all the way across the field. Make him cross the hash. Don't straighten him up. You've got plenty of field. I've got to see that more to Sean Robinson, pushing the ball downfield, being a little bit more accurate with it.
There's a completion, gain of about 7, third down and manageable.
You know, gentlemen, we're talking about body language in quarterbacks. I've been impressed with Sean Robinson on the TCU sideline. Every time that he comes to the sideline, he's talking to Kenny Hill, talking to offensive coaches, and he is calm for a young kid. Remember, this is only his 3rd start in his career. Attribute that to his parents, who are both coaches as well. His mom's a basketball coach back home. His dad coaches football. This is a big-time recruit. He chose TCU over a slew of big dogs: USC, Alabama, LSU, Michigan. Future's bright for this kid.
He hasn't lost a football game since 2015. He was in high school. Alanalua. He is going to be close to a first down. I think he got it. The Gatorade High School Player of the Year in Texas a couple of years ago led DeSoto to a state title. Robinson was at Denton Guyer before that. That's the last time he lost a football game. And he's a winner.
And like Kark is saying, it really goes back to what we found out yesterday, how good that quarterback room for him is, and how important that Kenny Hill mentorship is for him, because he's still so young and learning and so raw.
He had the touchdown on the last TCU drive. He's marching TCU on this possession. It's an 8-yard pickup for Alanalua.
And Kenny Hill is a longtime quarterback at TCU, had some really high moments. He still wants to try, figure out a way to play pro football. But he said he got the coaching bug. And the impact that he has had on Sean Robinson, we're seeing it develop right before our eyes, is tough to quantify.
Here's Kenny Trill. 2nd and 2 with a flat. That one is off target. Dondre Davis, the flat. Robinson bumped. He's going to pick himself up for a 3rd down and 2.
One of the things that Gary Patterson mentioned about Sean Robinson was he had that start last year against Texas Tech. Weather was terrible, windy.
Sounds familiar.
He said, listen, this is all I care about. Did we win? That's all he cares about when it comes to his quarterbacks. When Gary Patterson, can my quarterback win me ball games? And they expect Sean Robinson to do a lot of it for them in the next couple years.
He expects him to convert a lot of 3rd downs like this attempt, and he does. Robinson will scamper out at the 40-yard line. They'll keep the drive alive. They're 3 for their last 3 on 3rd down.
Sonny Cumbie's talked about how special of an athlete he is and how aware that you can utilize some stuff. Yeah, it's a basic zone read, but it's such a big opportunity for your offense because he's such, one, a good decision maker with it, and 2, a really good athlete.
consistency out of this offensive unit since halftime. On first down, a lot of little stacked up at the 40. Shane Haley, he's been active here tonight. He brings ball carrier down.
I love watching the SMU defense play. I really do. They're playing hard. And they've fallen behind here, but this is still an important drive. And they tackle really well, Clay. Kevin Kane's got to be really pleased with the future of his defense.
And they have a brutal schedule. Next handful of games. Got to go to Michigan next week. On the hook, Robinson. First down and more, but there's a flag down at the 41-yard line. It's going to be a holding call.
Holding. Offense, number 74. 10 yards from the previous spot. It's second down.
That's Chris Gaynor. It's just the second penalty tonight against TCU.
And you know, Clay, it kind of goes back to playing with some effort. As an SMU defense, a lot of holdings come from your effort, your extra effort, and you see Demeric Gary pulling away there with some extra effort, and it forces Gaynor on a little bit of a tug to get that holding call.
So after the penalty, second down and 20. Robinson scanning the field, uncorks to the 40-yard line. It's caught. And Patrick Nelson quickly brings Jalen Rager down to the turf. They'll get 8 yards back. Still very impressed with Patrick Nelson.
Big part of this defense, and they're moving them all over the place. But, Clay, how about Sean Robinson again? I don't want to continue to talk about him, but a beautiful job of hanging in the pocket.
Yeah.
And then Austin Myers and Lucas Niang, the fence posts of this offensive line, giving him enough time to throw.
SMU needs to stop. Robinson pressure. Swings back around. Pointing downfield, unloads, incomplete. He wanted Rager. And it's incomplete at the 35-yard line. Bumped loose by Jordan Williams. Fourth down.
Big time rush by SMU. They almost get home, run into each other. But beautiful job on the back end of coverage, hanging on their defense, hanging on their receivers, forcing that pass breakup. And like I said, that's a big drive for the SMU defense.
Nunez trying to dump this inside the 10. He'll do that. SMU hanging around here, under 2 minutes to go in the third. Tail of the tape, TCU, SMU, a rivalry that goes back over 100 years. Tonight, the 98th meeting. Just 40 miles separating these schools here in the Metroplex. And it's a series, Dan, that has been dominated by the Horned Frogs in recent years. No coincidence. The dominance really started when Patterson took the job as head coach. TCU trying to win its 7th in a row in this series. And SMU has the football back. They're still in this game, down 28-12. Xavier Jones on the carry. And overall, Sonny Dykes in his first year as head coach of SMU. Here in game 2, especially considering how bad the Mustangs played at North Texas last week, can't feel all that bad about how things have gone here tonight against a superior opponent.
No, they've played well. They really have. Some mistakes here and there. And we see another sack there by Ben Hicks. But I'll say this, Clay, when we talked to him yesterday, he lit up with excitement. He truly believes it's an untapped place. Dallas, they've got a new $27 million practice facility. He's excited for it. But this is where they can't be. This is just where this offense is right now. You can't be in second and third and longs dropping Ben Hicks back with an offensive line that is outmatched against TCU right now.
Sonny Dykes scowl there. In his gains, Juwan Johnson combined on that sack. Third sack tonight for the TCU defense. Third down and a dozen from the end zone. Hicks uncorks, incomplete. TCU's going to get the ball back with great field position. Brandon Benson, the intended receiver. Gladney in on the coverage.
Gladney again tonight. You see that shell coverage on Hicks. DB's playing glue type coverage on their receivers. Gladney having another bright moment. But I still think the future's bright for SMU. I really do, and so does Sonny Dykes. And he even said, listen, SMU feels like home. I've been here a long time in the state of Texas. He can recruit here. Like I said, they've got a brand new $27 million practice facility coming that he thinks, Clay, is going to have huge impact on them because of the afternoon weather when school starts for them.
Yeah, they've been conducting practices in the afternoon, right around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and the Texas heat has taken a toll on his team. So the practice facility will be huge. They'll be able to escape that. He thinks, you know, there's a huge difference just in the last few weeks because before school started, they were able to practice in the morning, but once it started, as far as school, they were able to go in the afternoon only, and it's been devastating to the team, he says, as far as the conditioning and
I get it. You know, I played down for the Houston Texans for a couple years, and we wouldn't think about having practice in the summertime in the afternoon because it would just drain you so much. So he really believes that that practice facility is going to have a huge impact on the long-term health and performance of his team.
Robinson to Turpin for about 6 on first down. Now TCU with great field position. They can really go a long way to taking a stranglehold on this football game with a good series here. That might be the last play of the third quarter. It was such a bad start for TCU here tonight. But going to the fourth, Gary Patterson's team's going to have the lead.
This is the end of the third quarter.
A 2-hour weather delay here tonight. SMU took advantage of it. Took out a 9-0 lead on this game, but TCU will take the lead now going to the fourth. It's 28-12 Frogs. These numbers really document how the flow of the game has gone. It was SMU early, but TCU since the start of the second.
You know, Clay, kids come to TCU to play for one of the best defenses in the country. And they don't do a lot, and it's basic and simple, incredibly detailed and efficient. And that's what we saw in that third quarter right there. It's a suffocating type of defense where you can watch tape and think, it'll be relatively easy, and then you get on the field and go, whoa, this team is fast and they do it well.
Sonny Cumbie got the headset on there. 5th year at TCU, 2nd as the play caller. He worked for Mike Leach, worked for Tommy Tuberville. He's got an interesting background, young, energetic coach. You really think that someday he's going to be a head coach?
Oh, he's got it written all over. Incredibly well spoken, understands the game. He's got a rich history of who he's learned from. He's doing a really nice job with the young quarterback.
3 receivers here on 3rd down and 3. Robinson to Turpin, and he's got room inside the 20. 10, touchdown. Wow, Cavante Turpin, explosive. He's got a punt return touchdown and now a 42-yard catch for a touchdown.
We throw around the term world-class speed a lot on the football field. You talk about a kid catching the ball and going, I'm gone. Split defenders, no need for moves. You're not fast enough.
It's like he shot out of a cannon. fronts for the extra point. Turpin is 5'9", 157. You know, guys built like that, generally you don't think that they're going to make a great football player, let alone at this level. But it's not the case with Turpin because of that world-class speed. One of our impact players tonight, Turpin, with a 42-yard catch and run. Now TCU, a lot of breathing room here in the fourth quarter. (21) unanswered points for TCU. It's now 35-12. Turpin, the 42-yard touchdown reception. Such a good return man. And sometimes you forget he's a really good receiver, too. Now Crochet on the return for SMU. He'll walk it out across the 25-yard line, out at the 27. Another reminder that you need this, because I'm sure you already know Clemson and Texas A&M going at it in College Station tomorrow night, 7 Eastern on ESPN. Also live on the ESPN app. Dabo and Jimbo, longtime rivals in the ACC. They're going to face off again.
And how about the program that Dabo Swinney has built at Clemson? But I'll say this, Jimbo Fisher can call plays.
Yeah.
And he's got a quarterback that can operate that offense. It's going to be a great one to watch.
Like I said before, the Kellen Mond really has to have a game. Here's Crochet. And he'll get to the 42.
Dan, you mentioned Jimbo can call plays. Well, landing at Texas A&M, arguably the best facilities in college football, and he's the hot guy in recruiting right now in the ESPN 300. The Aggies, #1 right now.
Of the 12 FBS programs here in the state of Texas, Jimbo got a big deal to come to College Station. It's a loss of 2. Alec Dunham, who had that scoop and score for TCU earlier here in the half, made that tackle.
Yeah, you know, Kark, there's a reason why they paid Jimbo all that money to go to A&M.
$75 million, 10 years.
The expectation level's high. He's won everywhere he has gone. And Kark just talked about how good the recruiting's been and how excited they are. And that's a program and an institution that's completely committed to going, all right, we want to be great. We want to be one of the Alabamas, Clemsons, TCUs. How do we get there? Hire a big-time coach, give him a bunch of money, let him recruit.
Brutal schedule here now for Texas A&M. Got Alabama on the horizon. They got to deal with Clemson tomorrow night. Hicks, incomplete. 4th down. James Crochet was the target. Ben Hicks has really been under pressure here a lot in the second half.
3rd and long will do that to you with an offensive line that's a little bit outmanned, and defensively you can, you know, okay, it's a pass. I can come after him, but really, what's really cool about this TCU defense is they don't really have a scheme. They play concepts, and that's how Gary Patterson teaches it. Basically, it's like this, Clay. He's going to teach his kids alphabets, not words, and then he can interchange parts whenever he wants.
Going to take a break here in Dallas. TCU with a comfortable lead now here in the 4th.
ESPN College Football is presented by Hulu. Watch your football games live all season long on your favorite channels. No cable required.
Clay Matvick, Dan Orlovsky, Paul Carcaterra back here in Dallas on the campus of SMU, where the football program's getting a new practice facility. Sonny Dykes couldn't be happier about it. Scheduled to open in April. $27 million being spent on the facility. Get a real benefit out of that. It's been an up and down night. Started really high for SMU. Took a 9-0 lead. Opening drive touchdown. Had the benefit of a TCU mistake that led to a safety. Since the second quarter, it's been all TCU. Jalen Rager rips that one off. And he's cut down after 35. It's a gain of 6. Sean Robinson, Dano, sophomore quarterback for the Frogs, making his 3rd start here tonight. Your overall impressions?
Really impressed with how he's bounced back from some mistakes. It's not going to be just an easy road, but to have as a quarterback that skill to short memory, move on from some bad stuff, that's as important as how well you can throw the football. And I'm really encouraged, and I would be, if I'm a TCU guy, I'd be really encouraged with what I've seen from him tonight.
He gives it to DeMercado, JUCO transfer from Saddleback College in California. His first touch, that's a gain of 9 and a first down. See the numbers for Robinson. And he started out cold as a cucumber on his first several passes. 1 for 6, but then picked it up.
You know what's been really impressive here in the second half? He's made some throws under some pressure. He's taken some shots and delivered accurate footballs. And I've mentioned it many times tonight. How can you rebound from some bad stuff? Another really good trait. Can you handle some pressure?
TCU has overcome a couple of turnovers here tonight. It's a good run for DeMercado. Imari DeMercado out of Inglewood, California. Led the Frogs in rushing last week. 8 carries, 57 yards. And that blowout of Southern, most of his work coming in the second half.
And a lot of credit has to go to this TCU offensive line. They've done a nice job in the run game, in protecting Sean Robinson. And that was a big question mark for this team going into the season because they replaced some guys. And everyone speaks about Chris Thompson, their offensive line coach, who's a TCU grad. How impactful, how nice of a job he's done with this offensive line, getting them to play at a really, really high level.
It's going to be 3rd down for TCU. You talked about that O-line. They lost 4 to the NFL. Joseph Noteboom, 3rd round pick of the Rams. Matt Pryor, 6th round pick of the Eagles. Patrick Morris, Austin Schlotman, also gone to the NFL.
And now this is an offensive line that's just about getting 8 quarters of football and 0 sacks allowed. That's good offensive line play.
See if we can pick it up here on 3rd down and 4. Turbin went in motion. Robinson looked his way briefly and then takes off. But he stopped short of the marker. Delano Robinson, weak side linebacker for SMU, makes the stop. And here comes the punting unit. We haven't seen it for a while here for TCU.
Yeah, they tried to get Turpin running with some speed across the line of scrimmage and a quick pass, seeing if he can outflank a defender. It's not there. Another moment of growth. Sean Robinson, a good decision. The number one thing you can't do there, turn the ball over, tuck it, run.
Crochet back to return to 10. Oh, and he's hammered. Good coverage by Johnson. SMU with a long field, down big here in the 4th. They know how to two-step in Texas. Don't forget about our annual Week 1 Monday Night Football doubleheader. Lions hosting the Jets in the Motor City, 7:10 Eastern. Then at 10:15, Jared Goff and the Rams in Oakland to battle John Gruden's Raiders. Both games will be simulcast on ESPN2 in Spanish. I saw you in the commercial break there doing that two-step yourself, Dan Orlovsky.
I could dance a little bit, man.
You got a penalty flag there. Well, the Jets' Sam Darnold is the only rookie quarterback in the NFL getting the start Week 1. And how would you describe his play?
You see it right there. I've kind of coined this term, magical sloppiness. And here's the thing, Clay. Watching him, everything he does is just a little bit sloppy. And sometimes that sloppy leads to bad stuff. But, man, at times it leads to magical stuff. And watching him play, it reminds me a lot of Tony Romo and Ben Roethlisberger, where his feet don't have to be perfect to be really accurate. And it's just this magical sloppiness that's so much fun to watch.
After the penalty, Xavier Jones takes it out across the 10-yard line. Gain of 7. So for Darnold, we'll see if the moment is too big for him. Again, a rookie quarterback. You know, Monday Night Football, it's going to be...
But he doesn't play like a rookie. At least we haven't seen it in the preseason. And it really goes back to the fact that he doesn't have to have perfect feet. And NFL pockets don't allow that. And so he's really accurate without perfect feet. And that's going to afford him kind of a expedited learning experience. Don't expect to see a rookie play, at least performance-wise, Monday night against the Lions. I love the kid coming out, and that's kind of how it got. I keep going back to that magical sloppiness. It's just, he's really fun to watch.
Now another 3rd down and long for SMU. Down 35-12. Raiders Rams in that Monday Night Football second game. Terrific. Hicks spun around, incomplete. And now it's 4th down. Crochet, the intended target for Hicks. Panigu right up in Hicks's face. Boy, Patterson's defense has really looked impressive here in the second half.
They just play with so much speed. And like I said, you watch them on tape and they don't do a lot. And as a quarterback, you can fool yourself into thinking, oh, what they do is simple. And you feel good about it. And then you take a snap and go, these guys are flying. It reminds me a lot of playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back in the day. Wouldn't do a lot. You get on the field against them, you feel good before the first snap, and then you get hit in the mouth because they're so fast.
Turpin might hit SMU in the mouth here. Already with a punt return touchdown, and he gives TCU great field position in the 15-yard line. All right, John Gruden, he spent 9 years here with us at ESPN. He had Derek Carr on his QB camp show back in 2014, and this is what he said.
I mean, how are you going to be if you get with a crazy man down there like me? I mean,
Right.
I'm out of control at times.
Yeah.
Would it like bother you or?
No, we both have the same goal in mind. You know, I'm a fiery competitor, so once I step on the practice field, I'm not, you know, laid back like this. You know, we all have the same goal in mind. We all want to win. We all want to be successful. So it doesn't matter to me. I just want to be coached, and I just want to get better.
Wow, foreshadowing, huh?
Sounds good. And then you get into a game and the defense decides to play cover 2 against you, and you miss a throw, and Gruden's on the sideline over there. Go, hey, Derek, why don't you take that turkey hole? Well, I expect you to throw that turkey hole over that corner's head in between the safety and the corner. Derek's going to go, Derek, hey, coach, and Derek, you got to throw that turkey hole.
Michael Collins in a quarterback now for TCU. All right, explain to everybody what you're talking about when it comes to the turkey hole.
Well, first of all, I don't know why it's called turkey hole. I know it's a honey hole, but it's this 18 to 22 yards on the sideline against cover 2, where the corner sits in the flat near the line of scrimmage and the safety plays high, kind of near a hash, and it's just a soft zone where a lot of quarterbacks like to drive the ball. And like I said, I know it as a honey hole.
Yeah.
Gruden's become famous on Monday Night Football going, hey, see that guy hit that turkey hole?
I'll give you a C+.
All right. Sounds like my high school and college academic career.
Collins, the backup quarterback, runs it in for TCU. Ivy League transfer from Penn. Who sat out last year. He's adding to TCU's lead here late in the 4th. And this score is not going to be indicative of how this game started for the Frogs. They got down early, but they have responded well since getting down 9-0. Sophomore from New Canaan, Connecticut. See a lot of Ivy League guys coming to the Big 12, but he wanted to play at a higher level without sacrificing the academics. TCU is a top-notch business school, so Collins is here. He's going to be the backup to Sean Robinson. Now 42-12. TCU moments away from wrapping this one up here in Dallas, leading 42-12. You look ahead to the schedule, Dan, for these Horned Frogs. It's going to be a challenge, especially the next couple of weeks. Crochet brings it across the 25 for SMU. So the Frogs will be against Ohio State next Saturday night in Arlington. It'll be game 3 of the Urban Meyer suspension. Meyer was back in practice this week, but he can't coach on the field until the 22nd against Tulane. But you look at the Frogs here, Ohio State, then they got to go to Texas. Iowa State won't be easy. Oklahoma looming on October 20th.
That's big-time college football, though. That's why it's great about it. This is a fantastic team and program. It's a big-time conference loaded with tons of talent. We're talking about Ohio State coming down here. That's the barometer and going to have long-term impact on the college football playoffs. Texas, Iowa State's very good. Oklahoma looks like there's some people talking Oklahoma might be better this year than they were last year with Kyler Murray. West Virginia looms with Will Greer, who right now has made more NFL passes this season, just as far as the way the ball is spinning off of his hand than any quarterback this season. This is going to be a big test, but they've got the coach to get them through it.
The one thing about the schedule for TCU, they only have 2 trips out of the state. They don't play out of the state of Texas until October 27th in Kansas. And you mentioned the trip to Morgantown to take on West Virginia. That's in November. There's Ben Hicks. It's going to be a penalty flag as Xavier Jones is interfered with by Rico Evans.
Pass interference. Defense number 7. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
If you watch Gary Patterson, the score is 42-12. He is coaching like it is the first quarter and the score is 0-0 because he knows with that schedule, he has 47 players on his roster, either freshmen, redshirt freshmen, or players who have never stepped on the field until this season. So the 2 deep is the question that he had when we met with him yesterday. Can those young guys come along?
Yeah, Kark, I was fascinated. I asked him yesterday, Coach, you've been doing this for such a long time here at such a high level. How do you not get tired of the same message? His analogy was, you take care of your house? And I said, yeah. He goes, this is my house. I'm going to take care of it. And I don't care what year it is or how many times I've done it in a row of success. This is my house, and I take it personal.
You know, I'm so impressed, too, Dan and Clay. Every time the defense comes off the field, I mean, he is coaching. He is breaking down every single scenario, specifically with the D-backs. That's where he spent the most time this evening. That's a group that, in this system, in this conference, Dan, as you know, with all the spread and guys splitting you out, attention to detail, back end.
Yeah, a tough league to defend, no doubt about it, but Patterson's a master at it. That's a incompletion. Brandon Benson tried to get his arms up under, couldn't do it. But 4 Big 12 teams, guys, ranked in the top 20 in total offense last year. You talked about Oklahoma. Of course, Baker Mayfield is gone, but the Sooners put up 79 points in 2 games against TCU last year. You know, that still sticks in the craw of Patterson.
They had some guy playing quarterback that was pretty good.
Yeah, and Kyler Murray's not too bad either, at least so far.
He looked great last week, but Oklahoma's got Baker Mayfield, the #1 pick of the draft.
Hicks is going to be spun down well short the first down, so it's a turnover on downs. TCU will get it back with 5 minutes to go. Let's go to the national storylines, Dan.
Part of it is the emergence of some of these young quarterbacks. Trevor Lawrence at Clemson was impressive. I've mentioned it, the type of throws he made. Kyler Murray, mentioned him a bunch tonight. Incredible impact. And You know, Dwayne Haskins at Ohio State is changing that team. They're not usually known to be a throwing team. He's got that ability. Can Pitt be the giant slayer? Pat Narduzzi's a aggressive coach. Can they knock Penn State off again like they did 2 weeks ago? I've mentioned N'Keal Harry and just grown man he is on the football field. Michigan State's going to be tested. And, you know, we've talked about Ohio State's got to come down here against this TCU team. And we've got another big game, too. LSU going to Auburn, who had a huge Week 1 win against Washington. A lot of big picture things happening in college football.
Seeing our third quarterback tonight for TCU, it's Grayson Muhlstein, the senior from Decatur, Texas. Well, Ohio State will take on Rutgers this weekend. Ryan Day, the interim head coach. And there you see his bio. Second season as the offensive coordinator. He had the unit looking sharp last week against Oregon State.
Oh, they were incredible to watch. And I'll say this, I watched his press conference a few weeks ago after everything kind of settled. I was incredibly impressed with how he spoke, handled the situation, gave credit to so many people that were around him. Not a great situation, right?
Yeah.
Give him credit for rallying his troops, getting the kids to play football, to have some normalcy. And that's going to be a huge test for both programs next weekend when Ohio State comes down here to play TCU. But really impressed with Ryan Day.
Ohio State's last 2 games at Jerry World. National title win over Oregon in 2014. And last year's Cotton Bowl win over USC. So they've had some good luck in that building. And TC will have to take on the Buckeyes next Saturday night. Herbstreit, Fowler, Taylor will have the call.
That's a team that's got some weapons too. It's not only Dwayne Haskins, Dobbins and Weber. Everyone's making a big deal about some big plays against Oregon State with their defense, but Ohio State is loaded with talent.
And then out there for TCU, the game at Texas in a couple weeks. The Horns will host Tulsa tomorrow. Tom Herman sticking with Sam Ehlinger at quarterback, at least for the time being.
And he should. Sam Ehlinger is a good player. This is the thing, though. Sam Ehlinger is cut from the same cloth, if you want to say player-wise, as Tim Tebow. He sets the tempo for your team emotionally when he runs the ball. So I want to see him used more in their run game, some design runs for the quarterback. He's a big kid. Sets that team's emotional compass, just with the physicality that he can play with.
So we're 3rd down and 2 coming up. Grayson Muhlstein in a quarterback, the 3rd stringer for TCU as this game is comfortably in hand here late. I'm going to try and pick it up by himself. I don't know if he got it. Let's take a look at our AP Top 10 presented by Chick-fil-A. There you see Alabama at the top again. Now Clemson, of course, going to College Station for a game tomorrow night. You see the Buckeyes at number 4 have Rutgers tomorrow. I know you really like Wisconsin.
I mean, their offensive line is incredible. There's 139 starts back. We talk about Clemson having 4 NFL guys on their defensive line. Wisconsin's probably going to have 3 or 4 NFL first-round draft picks on their offensive line.
And Georgia, no layup at South Carolina.
Yeah, it's going to be a great test. I love Georgia. They're going to be able to run the football at South Carolina and control the game. Jake Fromm, Demetrius Robertson, who's a transfer from Cal at wide receiver, adding to a team that already had 3 really good ones.
And a timeout. Minute 32 to go. 42-12. Gary Patterson. You know, he's always perspiring, but tonight he had to wipe away the rain too, as we had a lot of weather here in Dallas. This game was delayed by 2 hours. TCU came out slow, got it going late, and then started to run away. It's going to end up being a lopsided score. Fair catch at to 4 for Prochet. The Iron Skillet. That's the trophy, the traveling trophy between TCU and SMU. There it is. Boy, this rivalry goes back a long way. It goes back to 1915. World War I was raging at that time. And, you know, SMU, after about the second quarter, probably feels like they got hit over the head with that skillet.
I want to take that home and see if my wife can make me something out of it. Some taste, there's some flavor in that iron still. We've talked a ton about Gary Patterson tonight and the sweat. I just think that's who he is. That's how he lives his life. You know, this TCU program's got a hashtag or a saying, 40 not 4.
Ooh, that was almost an interception. That would have been a pick 6. Enes Gaines, one of your impact players, has been very good in the secondary. And Hicks threw it right at him.
And that's why they love Gaines in that position, because he's such a good athlete. He can play against the run. He's fantastic in coverage and great field. You know, but going back to this 40 not 4 thing for them, Clay, he talks about, hey, this isn't a 4-year decision for all these kids who come to TCU. It's a 40-year decision. And he wants to make sure they always know they've got a home. So that's when we see Coach Patterson on the sideline soaking wet. It's not just about football. Yeah. He's coaching them in everything. The big thing, he really wants to make sure he gets these kids to become somebody that they never thought they could.
You know, his defense, 3 takeaways last week. And a takeaway here tonight that led to a touchdown. They only had 20 all of last year. That was one area he said, hey, we can be better there. And I think in the first 2 games, we're seeing them be better. That's a catch for Prochet. He is going to be hog-tied and pulled down at the 27-yard line by Alec Dunham, who has been spectacular tonight. Final seconds here in Dallas. TCU is going to be 2-0 going into that big game against Ohio State next week. SMU is going to be 0-2. Last time they started 0-2 was the last season June Jones was here.
They got to go to Michigan next weekend.
Yeah.
Which is going to be a tough test.
And you look at the rest of the month, doesn't get any easier. Navy, that's always tough to prepare for the triple option. Houston Baptist, and then a trip to UCF. That's going to do it. 42-12 the final. TCU got down 9-0 in the first quarter, but Gary Patterson and the Horned Frogs are going to hold on to the Iron Skillet.
Really nice job of TCU just settling in, handling everything that happened poorly for them early on, playing like the team that they are, and they get to take home the Iron Skillet.
When are they going to cook in that thing?
Right now, after this rain delay, I'd love something. Whatever.
It's late. Need a midnight snack.
Whatever they've got, I'll take.
7th straight win in the series. TCU has won 11 of the last 12 now against SMU, their oldest rivals. 42-12 the final. Coming up next on ESPN2, it's First Take. For Dan Orlovsky and Paul Carcaterra and our entire crew, I'm Clay Matvick. We say so long from the Big D. TCU going into the game with Ohio State 2-0 after the win here tonight.